All right, so we are here today with Gary Doherty of the Think Network. I'm really excited, Gary, to have you here because today is our very first interview, our podcast. It's going to go on Spotify as well as YouTube on our channel. So I'm really excited to kick off the podcast that I've been talking about for probably a year and a half now with you, Gary. You're fabulous. So I just want you to really just kick us off and tell us about yourself, what you do, why you do it, and maybe a little bit about what brought you to doing what you do.
Okay, well, firstly, thank you. I appreciate being here and I appreciate talking to your audience. My name is Gary Doherty. I'm from Northern Ireland, in the UK and Ireland, and I am the founder of Think Network, which is Europe's fastest growing independent personal development and empowerment platform. We have evolved a lot over the last 4 years. We started out doing motivational and inspirational speaking events. And that was really born out of a desire from within. I needed that in my life, but I couldn't see it anywhere.
Yeah.
And so I thought, you know, rather than search and search and search and search, I'll be that. And I created that. And we started off with a small event and it just grew and grew and grew. And in between events, where it was still just like a side hustle, like a hobby. It was not even, it was a passion.
Yeah.
It wasn't even about money to start with. And now the economy's come into it because it's a business. But I wanted to be the change that I wanted to see. I wanted to be that what I was searching for. So we did, and we have, and we are. And we've grew and grew and grew, and in between events people then were saying, well, listen, we've had these amazing experiences at your events, what else have you got, and I didn't have anything. Yeah. So I realized there was a need, an appetite, there was a void to be filled. People wanted motivation and inspirational content and people around them, and we created things like private Facebook accountability groups, for example, where people could share their goals and the wins and challenges in a safe environment. We then expanded that into physical and online mastermind groups, where we then would develop resources and programs for people to follow. Then that grew into the PR and personal branding that we do now. So yeah, it's just been, and I'll tell you why you asked me why I do it. I do it because I feel really good supporting other people to be the very best that they can be. So I figured out if I feel really good doing that, I'm going to do a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
And that's really the essence of what I do, because I was that person that was always searching for that.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that. I love that how you created basically your own platform for what you needed that you couldn't find. And now you're doing that for others. And I applaud you, Gary, because, you know, for everyone out there listening, Gary and I we didn't know each other just on LinkedIn, and you randomly dropped me a DM and it just evolved into something incredible. And through the process, you've helped me with, you know, some PR pieces and even just my own self-esteem and doing, or even empowerment to do what I really wanted to do, just talking with you. So you really do, you're a full service business, or I want to say person, because really the passion comes through in everything you do, from your social media to helping other people. And it's really fabulous. And, you know, I love that. I love everything you do. And this is probably one of my favorite stories that, you know, you and I talked about on your podcast is, you know, you've become the Ulster Tatler Businessman of the Year, which is exciting. I got to give you more claps for that, because how it happened is even more thrilling to me, because, you know, you and I talk about manifestation and things like that, you know, a lot of people don't believe that you can manifest your own life. You can create what you truly desire. Sometimes it's just taking that step, which you did, your passion, you took the step, and everything came to you. So a lot of times we want to know, how do we do this? How do we get to that next level? And it's really not about the how, it's more about, you know, just starting, right? Taking that step. So congratulations again. Tell us about that. How exciting was that to receive that honor?
That was very exciting because, and it has a very deep and meaningful meaning for me. And the reason why is because in 2009, 2009, I lost a business. I had been doing very well in the property sector as an entrepreneur. My first sort of dip in the water as an entrepreneur from 2006 to 2009. I enjoyed a lot of success, but then lost. You know, I had a big fall down. So it took me a long time to get back to where I am now, and not even back to where I am. I've surpassed that, but far surpassed that. But that recognition, that external, you know, people talk about, oh, we don't need validation, we don't need this. And yes, you don't need it, but it's still nice to have it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it's still nice to get a pat on the back. It's still nice to be recognized for your hard work. It's still nice to receive an accolade for your achievement. You know, that's all part of, you know, the buzz for me and achieving the success and together as a team and for clients and with everybody. And to get that reward and recognition externally after everything I had been through was extra special for me as a man, as a human being.
Yes.
And I really, really felt that, and it really meant a lot to me. I still don't know who nominated me for the award to this day. They don't tell you these things. Then it's one thing being nominated. Most people that are nominated aren't shortlisted.
Yeah. Then
when you're shortlisted, most people that are shortlisted don't win.
Yeah. So
to be nominated, shortlisted, and then recognised, and as the main glossy magazine online public or media publication in Ireland as the businessman of the year was, yeah, it was beautiful, and it lived with me forever, and I'm very, very grateful. And but it's only the start as well.
It is. It's like a launching pad for you. And to your point, we don't do things for necessarily the recognition because you know, you and I have talked about this before. We do it to help people. Our missions are very similar, yet they're very different. Like we're paving our own path, and we just want to help people succeed in life and do things that, you know, we've done that took us forever to do, but maybe shorten it a little bit more to help them. So, but getting that recognition it feels good. Like to your point, I love that. It really does. Do you mind sharing a little bit about, you know, some steps you did throughout the year getting up to that point?
Yeah. Well, once I had been nominated, I'm a great believer in visualization. I'm a great believer, and I count myself as a great manifester. I've learned from some amazing people, and the first thing for me was really seeing what I wanted in my mind. Right, what I wanted in my mind was not just to be nominated. Once I was nominated, I was in it to win it then. Right? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best and be your best. Right back in line with my own mission and vision and values to help other people be the very best they can be. I should also want that for myself, right? Yes. So I thought, I'm going to put into practice what I preach, what I teach, what advice I give or coaching we do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to implement this here right now. So I visualized it so clearly, so often, what it would be like winning the award, and then more importantly, how I would feel. Yeah. What emotions would be attached to it: pride, fulfillment, joy, satisfaction, happiness, tears, familiarity. Like I belonged there. Yeah. Normal. In lots of ways. I was normalizing the whole experience in my mind. Like this is just going to be normal for me. This is what I deserve. This is what I expect for myself. Great abundance in my life. Because a lot of people might want great abundance in their life. And that's one of the principles of the law of attraction. But how many people truly expect humbly and gratefully the great things in their life? Yeah, I do. Yeah, and I did. And I received that, you know, and that wasn't just down to thinking it into existence. I was doing all the necessary steps. My social media content was A1. I was making myself very visible and credible online. I was in every publication all over the world consistently. I was writing it down in present tense affirmations every damn day of the week. I shared with you what I had wrote into my book, which I might have here. I do have. If anybody can see and read that, or even screenshot that when you're watching this and zoom in, I am Ulster Tatler Businessman of the Year 2022, and I wrote that every day, and I felt it like the hairs in the back of my neck. There's at times I could have cried thinking about it, and then in the moment when it happened, I had already lived there.
Yeah,
I was already there.
yeah,
Like I wasn't shocked when it happened. That's my point.
yeah.
I was happy. I was fulfilled. I was satisfied. Yes, we've done it for my family, for my wife, for my children, for myself, for my parents, for my mother and father-in-law who are no longer with us, to my 2 grandsons that were at home. But it wasn't a shock.
Yeah.
Because I expected to win it. Would I have been disappointed if I hadn't have? Of course. But listen, that's life. We deal with the ups and the downs. Fortunately for me, it wasn't a down that evening. It was a great high, one I'm very proud of, and thank you for acknowledging it as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great achievement, and it's a great example of living from the wish fulfilled, which you and I both know, you know, how that operates. And, you know, when I was growing up, my grandmother always said, dress for the job that you want, not dress for the job you're in. Yeah. Act like, you know, act as if you're in the job you want versus the job you're in. And that's basically, without her understanding, you know, anything that you and I know now, was living from the wish fulfilled, and you move in that direction. And that's exactly what you did. And it gives me chills, Gary, because, you know, I'm working with a group of people now that we're doing 21 days reset for goals and gratitude. And they're saying it's not working, it's not working. And we've talked about, you know, you have to add the emotion into it, even with gratitude. You know, if you had said, you know, I'm so grateful that I'm going to win the award, but you left that, you know, little writing station and said, I don't know if I'm going to win it. Or, you know, I'm so grateful I won that award and this is how I'm going to feel. And you did that. You visualized it. You lived it. And that's what helps brings us to that level of achievement. And most people, they want it here and now, and they want it to happen immediately, and they don't connect emotionally. And that's one of the things through this 21-day process. We're in our third, almost, well, 2.5 weeks now, that people just aren't grasping. So hearing that from you is just so much confirmation. You have to live with that emotion with anything you want in life. If you don't attach emotion to it, it's just status quo. You're just, you know, walking, you know, dead man walking almost.
Let me share this with you as well. I don't know if I have shared this one. Yeah. At these things, people can get nervous and they can get, you know, panicky, and they can get what if and what. So, and I know I'm a human being too, right? So I can, you know, we feel all sorts of emotions, but I made a choice to decide what I was going to feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I chose to know how I was going to feel in the moment. Like, that was that. I made a choice, and I wrote down. And I wrote it down every day that I wrote down about I am the Ulster Tatler Businessman of the Year. On the next page was I am cool, calm, and confident and in control. I am cool, calm, confident, and in control. If anybody, my writing is terrible, but that's so. If you can zoom in, or you even see that, you can see. And you know what I even done at the end of it? I initialed it. I put my name to it. It was a contract with myself.
I love it.
It was a declaration to me that I am cool, calm, confident, and in control. Boom, put my name to it. And you see, on the night when my name was called, I remember when they were going through the VT, they were going through the whole, they were going through the 3 people that were shortlisting, and the room of 400, 500 people were clapping and roaring and shouting, and it was a big, massive, fancy production. Did you see the video, this wee short video?
Yes. Yeah.
So and I sort of knew I knew it was going to be me, because there was camera crews that were sort of circling, that were looking to get my reaction, type of thing, right? And I just said to myself in the moment, I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm confident, and I'm in control. And then my name is boom. Guess what? I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm confident, I'm in control. I felt all those emotions. That's what played out. And I was, and you know, that was by choice, not by chance.
Yeah, you're giving me chills, Gary, because I did watch the clip and it reminded me of like a Hollywood production, like an Emmys or a Grammys. I mean, it was
Like, it was
extremely,
high end.
yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Like just everything about that production was incredible. And,
Yeah.
you know, hearing you say that, I know because a lot of people live in the fear of success, like they fear success.
Yes.
If I
Yes.
win that award,
Yeah.
what am I
What
going to
if?
say? Yeah, am I going to trip? Am I going to be embarrassed? So they almost talk themselves out of winning the award out of fear of how they're going to perform just by walking upstairs and saying thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, listen, good times, and very grateful for it.
Yeah, but you know, this whole story, you know, will live forever because it is a testament of the power of, you know, our own inner feelings, thoughts, and mindset, right? I mean, you visualized and you manifested. You wrote your affirmations, you manifested, you said, I'm going to become cool, confident, in control, and you were calm, cool, confident, and in control. And
Yeah. Well,
it just, this is proof that it works when you do that inner work, the outer comes to you, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's, you know, just taking that action that gets you there. And a lot of people don't understand that. And, you know, it's very difficult to share that with people without them looking at you like you're crazy. Oh, if I write that down, you know, just on that note, I did an event at one point and a woman wanted so bad to win this $5,000 prize. I said, write it on your pillow tonight, think about it all night, go in tomorrow morning into it with you won that prize. And you know what? She won the prize out of like 40 people. So visualization works. It doesn't mean that you're going to, you know, say, I'm going to win the lottery and you win it the next day. There's action, there's work, there's things too. So it's a combination of things, but I love that. And, you know, one thing too, Gary, like even with you winning that award, I'm a huge believer of, you know, never being comfortable with where you're at.
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel the same way. I feel
Yeah.
like you have to be happy, you have to enjoy where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, you can love where you're at, but you also want to be moving and taking action and reaching for the next thing. Do you sit in that kind of mindset also?
Yeah. Of course. To be really, really honest with you, you know, that award's old news now in lots of ways. Where it has great benefit, well, it has two ways that it has great value for me right now. Like so many months on, or a couple of months on, 2 months on, or whatever it is now. This first one is that it had increased my credibility and positioning online. So not only was I saying I was this XYZ, other people are now saying it, and you've got this award. So that's the ongoing value of it. But where I personally get great value from it, and I share this here with you, you know, I like to revisit that feeling every now and again that I had on that night, right? Because it makes me feel good. Still makes the hairs on my back. Still it gives me like, you know, I'm inspiring myself. I'm trying, you know, I'm using a lived experience to inspire my own self, right? And when I'm at the gym and have my headphones on, I will click on that video, watch that video back, and I get myself going, and it gets myself pumped. But the reason for that is because I think yes, be happy, have moments of happiness, but never be fully content with what you have achieved. Because what that means is you can be fully content in the moment, but also always know that you have more to give. You have more to offer. You can be better. You can impact more people. You can change more lives. You can improve your own life even more. If it's already good life, make it great. If it's great, make it really great. You know, you can always improve, right? There's, you know, perfection doesn't really exist, does it? For me anyway. You know, you can improve. And that's where the never being totally content comes from me. Some people, when they hear that, go, oh, you couldn't be happy, or do you never really enjoy your success? I find happiness, I find joy, I find fulfillment. I've expressed it to you there, I don't know how many times. I have great joy and fulfillment. I listen to that video in the gym every day and it brings me great joy, happiness and fulfillment. But am I content that that is everything that I'm going to achieve? No, never. And onwards we go. And that's just my attitude. I must be continually better than I was before.
Yeah.
And I want to be.
It's true, Gary. And on that note, where you're talking about being better than you were before and everything that you've done and that you are continuing to do, how does that, you know, because they say it's contagious, right? You know, success is contagious. And the 5 people that you're closest to, right, are who you're going to be. Another great one my grandmother used to always tell me who your 5 closest friends are and I'll tell you who you are, right? So you know, with that being said, this is really important because a lot of times, like with success, a lot of people only look at what they're doing and the public looks at them as what they're doing. But how does this also like radiate and filter out into your family and into your friend group? You know, that's something that's really important to me because I feel like I'm a sponge when I'm around people, right? And, you know, and I'm absorbing their energy and what they're doing, whether it's good or bad. So I'm very selective now, even more so the past year, of who I spend time with. So for you, with your family, and I've also seen it trickle down into my family, not at the level I'd like it, but it'll get there. But for you, how does that affect your family, your wife, your children, and your, you know, your entire family and friend group?
Yeah, well, there's 2 things there coming from that, touching what you're talking about. The first one is I'm very, very selective about who I listen to, what information I'm taking in. And that's right down to what I listen to on podcasts or videos or material that I listen to. It's right down to books that I read. Here's one I keep at hand at the minute. Don Green of Napoleon Hill Foundation. He's the CEO of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and he sent me this personalized copy, and so I'm only taking in good information, Heidi. I don't listen to gossip. I don't listen to unnecessary negativity. I don't listen to he said, she said. I don't listen to complainers. People constantly complaining. Sometimes complaining's valid, but if it's a theme where it's, you know, all the time, like so yeah, I don't really watch the news. I don't, there's nothing really of value there. I can get snippets to know what's going on in the world. So I just try to block out, and right down to people that I would call friends, mentors and whatever. I spend less time with people that, from a selfish point of view, because guess what, if you're listening to this, you should be selfish with your self-care and your self-love. I care about myself enough to keep what I don't want in my life at bay, right? And that includes people. It may even include family members. And that's no disrespect to anybody. But, and how do you do that? Well, you can choose to spend less time in people's company, minimize time and control space. Easier said than done, I know, but you get the sentiment. So that's what I do to protect myself, to look after myself, and I try only to talk to people that add high value or add value to my life. And in turn, I have the desire to add value to theirs. So that's that. In terms of my family, it's definitely had a ripple effect onto my family, what we do. Not even what I do anymore, it's what we do. For example, my daughter is still a shy girl, or was very shy. Now she's delivered a TED talk. Now she is a Autism ANI ambassador. Now she was a finalist in Miss Great Britain beauty pageant. She now public speaks in different places. Now I don't take the credit for that, but I know for certain of what she has said in other arenas and platforms that it's definite. Well, what I have achieved and what we have done together as a family and as a business, that is definitely fed into that belief and confidence to allow her to do that. She achieved all that on her own, of course. My wife is definitely mindset focused more than ever. I have a son who's achieving great things in employment, and I know for certain the drive and the energy and the enthusiasm and the ambition that we've shown as a business and as a collective has definitely had ripple effects into his behaviours in his career. So yeah, I think that it, you know, it's definitely of added value for everybody in their own way.
Oh, I love it's fantastic, Gary. Honestly, there's two things that I thought when you were talking is one thing is shaking the tree, right? We shake the tree and all the bad fruit falls out.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, oh God, I lost my train of thought. Why does this happen to me? It'll come back to me. When it does, I'll mention it again. But shaking the tree was so important. Thought that came to me when you were talking about all that, because it's true. Oh, love from a distance. That's something I share all the time. You can love from a distance. You can have family members that you are extremely close to. And as you're evolving, you can still love them, but it can be from a distance, and you make your choices more wisely when it comes to that.
Yeah. And you'll notice yourself as well. I'll tell you something that I've noticed, Heidi, is, do you see when I vibrate higher? And for anybody listening to that, you're talking about, you know, how, you know, if you're expressing gratitude daily, like I have a gratitude journal, whereas there's my gratitude journal there. It's marked, you know, and I'm in that. I've been in that today already, and I'll be in it again. But anyway, when you're doing this sort of thing, and and then that's my affirmation book. After this, I'd probably sit with a cup of coffee and write pages of you know, things that I really want to emotionalize and visualize. When you're doing this sort of thing and you're reading the right material, like these things aren't just by chance at my hand here. They're here by choice. I choose to read the right material. I choose to write the right affirmations. I choose to express gratitude. You know, I choose to be organized in my diary. So, you know, the law of order. We see when you do this sort of thing as habitually, you raise your level of vibration. Yes. And when you raise your level of vibration, your awareness, you spot BS a mile away. There's there's people that ordinarily wouldn't have triggered you before, but you're like, are we really gossiping about that now? Or God, you're being really negative today. You start to see and hear things where consciously before you absorbed that complaining, you absorbed that negativity, you partake in that gossip, you whatever. But when you're doing all this sort of thing, you're so aware. Your vibration's so high that some friendships will change because of the dynamic. You just don't have the same things in common anymore.
Yeah.
That's right. Because you've changed for the better.
Yeah.
You know, so things do change and they move and they shake. And I've noticed it myself in my own life with certain friends. There's nothing wrong with them. It's okay. We're still friends. But my vibration has changed where I want to have less time with them, or maybe more time with them, depending on who it is. So it's all those things that raise your own vibration, that have you in that conscious mental state of awareness to act differently and be differently and so on and so forth. And that's when you take the massive action. Like, for example, how we connected on LinkedIn, I'm still not sure, but we probably are like minds, you know, maybe content. I seen a post of you that somebody liked and shared of a mutual connection. I thought, oh, we're on a similar frequency. We need to connect. We connected. So then I send you a DM. Then we're doing business together. Now we're on here together. And that is manifestation. That is law of attraction. That is like higher level stuff happening that wouldn't ordinarily happen if you weren't doing this stuff and you weren't consciously, you know, thinking like you would normally think.
Oh, Gary, it's so true. Having shallow conversations now, for me, it's very difficult to gossip or to talk about. So I can't, I just don't even want to be around that. It's incredible how, it's incredible how you evolve. And, you know, one of the things too that's coming out of, excuse me, our conversation is there's a lot of people out there, and you know my passion for people finding their self-worth and value.
Yes, I do.
A lot of people out there that I want this podcast to reach that are from teens all the way up to maybe 70, 80. So I
Yes.
want this to reach a large audience. It's going to take a little time to get there, but we'll get there. But, you know, one of the things, the groups that I'm really concerned with are like teens, right? So, you know, teens, high school, college, people that are watching this right now, they're going to get fired up, right? Like we always do. We get fired up when we listen to something like this. Your story is so empowering and motivational in some ways to people. I take it as empowering. Some people might get motivated, which we know motivation only lasts so long and then it dies out, right? You can only light a flame under someone for so long and then it just winds down. It has to come from within. So for people that are listening, whether you're a teenager and you know you want more friends or whatever the case may be, or you're looking at your future going into college or athletics, up to 70 and you want to try something new or different, what are some of the things that you would tell them right now? Like, absorb everything that's been said in this conversation, but the minute you know, stop watching this, what are you going to do next? You know, I know it's a combination of a lot of things, but how would you get someone to just start?
Do you know what? There's two things. One is, you know, what makes you really happy, right? What makes you happy? And what do you love doing? Is it playing football? Is it writing? Is it singing? Is it networking, socializing? Is it art? Is it what is it that you actually absolutely love doing, right? Then write down 5 to 10 things that you love doing, right? For me, and you can see how that, the reason I'm saying this is because you can see how it feeds into Think Network and what I did is how I followed my purpose, let's say, you know. So one things that I enjoy doing is I like bringing like-minded people together because I get great satisfaction from just listening to other people, meeting other people. I love meeting new people. I love networking. I love managing things. I love project managing things, doing events, bringing people together, you know, charity work. I love serving people. It makes me feel good, blah, 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 right? So they're all things that I like doing, that I just love doing, right? And then I wrote down in another column what I'm actually really, really, really good at. Am I good at those things, right? You know, what you're good at may not necessarily be what you love doing. For example, when I was younger, I loved playing football, but I'm not that good at it, right? So you write down what you're actually good at. You know, you're good at speaking, good at really giving advice, good at whatever it might be. See if you can combine what you love doing with what your actual strength areas are, like Think Network. I was able to bring people together, manage that environment, like having an event and having coaching and TED Talks and motivational speaking events and mastermind groups. I was able to project manage that, have a project, bring all those people together, and then I had a business. And I'm living my dream in reality doing that. So I just say to people, you know, what do you love doing? What are you good at? And see if you can monetize that somehow, some way. Because I'd like to encourage more entrepreneurship, more entrepreneurial thinking, because I like to see people living a life of freedom, freedom of choices, freedom of movement, freedom of finance, freedom of thought. You know, I'd like to see more people do that. And I would say also the second bit is get out of your own way. Don't put too much emphasis on the importance of your peers. When I was younger and I was at school, the friend group I was in or the people I knew, their opinion was more important to me than my parents. But yet I don't spend 2 minutes with any of those 20 years later.
It's true.
And I say all that because I have a 15-year-old son now. He's 16. So and we have these conversations. He would place so much importance on this peer group, and I'm like, no, it would stop him doing things. Oh, I can't do that because that doesn't fit in with what we do as a group or whatever. Get out of your own way. Think 10, 20 years in front. What would you tell yourself? What would you want yourself to do now?
Yeah.
You'd want yourself to be brave enough to speak. You'd want yourself to be brave enough to say, I want to start my own business. You'd want to be brave enough to say, I want to join that group and I want to learn from him or follow her. Look at somebody for inspiration. If even you don't have it within, even if you don't believe in yourself, even if you think you're a failure, even if you think you're not good enough, look at somebody else and borrow their belief.
Yes.
You know, say to yourself, they must have believed in themselves at one time. I'm going to tell myself I do. Yeah. Tell yourself it so religiously that you end up you do. And then you are. Just have courage. Put your best foot forward. Go for it like your life depends on it. Because someday it will.
Yeah.
Someday your life will depend on what you do, the actions you take. Take no actions, you have no results. You know, so start to think about the future because life's too quick.
Yeah.
Life's too quick. I'm 46. It feels like yesterday I was 16.
Yeah. Right? It does.
You know what I mean? So that's why I do everything like my life depends on it now. And that's out. I have a post on Instagram today. And if anybody's looking back through my Instagram grid or profile, you'll see it. It's under desire. Do it like your life depends on it because someday it will. And mine does today.
Yeah.
And did yesterday. And it will tomorrow. And that's why I'm like that all the time. So just have courage. Believe in yourself. Even if you don't, tell yourself you do often enough. And you will eventually. And just go for it.
I love that, Gary. And, you know, I pitched it as, you know, a teenager up to 70 because that same exact speech that you just gave could apply to someone
of course
my age and 70. And I brought it to that level because a lot of people in our age, I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, but in our age group are still in that place of worrying about the peers, worrying about what am I going to do with the rest of my life, trying to rediscover everything. So I love everything you said there, Gary. I so appreciate you. I mean, this has been incredible. I could talk to you for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, but I want you to tell everyone, how can they reach you? Number one, I also want you to repeat, you know, the name of that book, because I'm going to put that in the comment section also, and how they can reach you. And, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people that can benefit from your services. And, you know, this is why I want to meet with you, because all this connection and like-mindedness is going to.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Best, you can connect with me on Instagram, Gary B. Doherty Official. You can connect with me on Twitter, the same, LinkedIn, the same, Gary B. Doherty. Facebook, there's a page and a profile. Gary Brian Doherty is the page, which is my middle name. Gary B. Doherty is my private page, but I'm not so private on it. So because I don't want to be the best kept secret. And if you're not visible online, you're invisible, particularly if you've got a passion or a purpose or a service or a product or an offering, or you want to have more impact or more reach, which is what I desire as part of my business and part of my life. It's my calling, it's part of my calling to do that. So any of the social media platforms, and yeah, hit me up and let's connect.
Yeah. Thank you, Gary. Definitely connect with Gary. He's got opportunities every week for you to increase your brand and spread your brand globally. So thank you so much.
That's the book.
Oh, yes, my mentor, John Green. I have to get that. I know you just did a podcast with him, you know, a few weeks back too. So amazing guy. And Napoleon Hill, we all know, is incredible. So thank you so much, Gary. And I appreciate you. I'm so grateful that we've connected. And again, it's just taking little actions that brings everything to you. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I look forward to our next conversation and our next roundabout with all of this wonderful stuff. Thank you so much, Gary.